If atoms are mostly empty space, why can't we walk through walls? It sounds like we should be able to. After all, scientists know that atoms are not solid little balls. Most of an atom's volume is actually empty space. So why do objects feel solid? Why can't your hand pass through a table or a wall? To answer that, we first need to understand what atoms actually look like. Atoms have a very small dense center called the nucleus. The nucleus contains protons and neutrons, and it holds almost all of the atom's mass. Surrounding the nucleus are electrons, which move in regions of space called electron clouds. The structure of the atom was discovered through experiments by scientists like Ernest Rutherford, who showed that atoms have a tiny central nucleus with a lot of empty space around it. To understand how empty atoms really are, imagine this. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a marble, the electrons would be moving around many meters away from it. That means most of the atom is empty space. So why can't we walk through things? If atoms are mostly empty space, what actually stops objects from passing through each other? The answer is electromagnetic force. Electrons carry a negative electric charge. The atoms in your body contain electrons, and the atoms in a wall also contain electrons. When these electrons get close to each other, they repel one another, because particles with the same electric charge push away from each other. This repulsion is extremely strong at very small distances. So when you press your hand against a wall, the electrons in your hand are repelling the electrons in the wall. That force is what creates the feeling of solid contact. Another important idea is that electrons don't orbit around the nucleus, like planets orbit the sun. Instead, electrons exist in regions called electron clouds. These clouds represent the places where an electron is most likely to be found. When two objects come close together, their electron clouds begin to interact and push against each other. This interaction prevents atoms from occupying the same space. There is also a rule from quantum mechanics that helps explain why matter can pass through itself. This rule is called the Pauli exclusion principle. It states that two identical electrons cannot occupy the same quantum state at the same time. Because of this rule, electrons in atoms resist being forced into the same space as other electrons. So even though atoms are mostly empty space, matter still behaves as solid. That's because the electrons in atoms repel each other through electromagnetic forces, and because the rules of quantum mechanics prevent electrons from occupying the same states. In other words, when you push on a wall, you're not really touching solid atoms. You're feeling the powerful forces between their electrons. And that's why, even though atoms are mostly empty space, we still can walk through walls.